everyone. Um, if you can remember, I put up a post, how long ago was it? About a week, maybe 2 weeks ago, saying that you could ask me any questions that you wanted to, because I thought I'd have a go at doing that again because I haven't done it for a while. So seeing as I'm still feeling a bit I thought maybe I could have a go at starting to answer some of those questions for you. So we shall see how we get on. There was certainly some interesting ones, so I look forward to answering some of those. So we'll start going through those. The lovely Roxanne, hi Roxy, she decided to go with a deep one, obviously, and she wanted to ask. She said that you talk often of your health and things you've experienced. For anyone out there who's walked or walking or is even about to walk a similar path to you, number one, what advice would you offer to them? Number two, what was the lessons you felt you could take from your experience, and what, if any, humorous moments you could offer? I might need to do a whole video just to answer that one. But yeah, what can I say about that one? What advice would I offer to someone? Well, in regards to obviously going through breast cancer, the only advice I can think of is to just go with it. Going through any sort of huge life-changing experience, especially cancer, it is a roller coaster of a journey, and there'll be a lot of ups and a lot of downs, and you just need to sort of be gentle with yourself while you're riding this roller coaster of experiences and emotions. I say for me personally, it was a huge, unexpected, life-changing moment. I think it taught me a lot about myself as well as other people, because you don't know how strong you are really until you're put in a situation where all you can really do is be strong and try and keep yourself as positive as possible, try to remain optimistic, and yeah, just don't let it get you down. There'll be moments where you sort of hit rock bottom, and you know, you can get into some really sort of dark places, but you really need to bring yourself back up out of that, because thinking on the dark side, looking on the dark side is not going to help you while you're going through your treatment. You need to keep yourself as uplifted as possible, and certainly you need to have a good circle of people around you to sort of help keep you uplifted as well. I mean, when I found out I had cancer, you know, a lot of my close friends were brilliant. You know, they really sort of have kept me going. But you will find that there'll be people who suddenly sort of exit your life at the worst time possible. And as hard as it is at the time, let them go. Let them go, because you don't need those sorts of people around you when you're going through an experience like this, because it certainly filters out the people who have sort of been wearing masks and pretending to have your best interests at heart. And you don't need these people. You need to filter them out, because they're not going to do anything good for you, and they're only thinking about themselves, and you need to focus on yourself. So yeah, just let those sorts of people go, because that will be a blessing in disguise, because you don't want these people around you, because if they can't be there for you at your low times, why should you allow them to be with you to celebrate the good times afterwards, if you get what I mean? So yeah, and don't be afraid to laugh. I know going through something as horrible as cancer is like horrific in itself. It's scary. You don't know what's going to happen, but don't be afraid to have moments where you make fun of things. I mean, I was making fun of myself all the time. I mean, I making people laugh, going on about how, you know, I was going to lose all my hair and my bodily hair, and it's like, well, at least I haven't got a shave for a year, you know what I mean? So yeah, just have fun with it, and don't be afraid to laugh, to help you get through those hard moments and things like that. Yeah, like I said before, you'll find out how strong you really are. I think I surprised myself, because I'm not gonna lie, I was absolutely petrified when I was told that I'd got cancer, because I was led to believe that it was just a complicated cyst that I had, and it's like, yeah, you can't get much more complicated than bloody cancer, can you? So yeah, what lessons could you take from the experience? I think one of the biggest lessons was learning to listen to your body, because I used to push myself a lot. But when you're going through, especially cancer treatment, radiotherapy, you need to learn to listen to your body. If your body's telling you that you need to rest, then rest, because if you don't, it'll force you to, and that's not very good. And my body still reminds me sometimes, especially when I try to do too much, that because I still suffer with a lot of the after effects of my treatment, even though it's been 8 years now. If I still do too much at once, I will still have fatigue crashes and things like that, where my body forces me to rest. So yeah, learn to listen to your body. Humorous moments. Well, I had to have a Hickman line fitted to administer my chemo through, which I decided to call my trusty dangler, which used to cheer up the staff at the hospital. And I'm still peeved that they didn't let me keep it when they took it out, but they said for hygiene reasons, and that I wasn't allowed to keep it, but I was quite sad. I didn't like it when they first put it in, but over time my trusty dangler became my little friend, and I could rely on it. So yeah, and also there was that one time where I was going on about dressing up for Halloween, and I said, well, I ain't going to have any problems with that, because I can just go as one of the Borg from Star Trek with the bald head and the pipes coming out of me. So yeah, just have fun with it. Don't be scared to to have a laugh and bring some humour to a shitty situation, because humour will help you get through and get through to the other side. I know it helped me a lot. I think that was one of the biggest things that helped me to get through my treatment, was just having a laugh and enjoying life, even though it's a shitty situation. So yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any other humorous moments. There probably was, because I was literally laughing all the way through it. I can't think of any more at this time. It was a long time ago. If I think of any more, I'll add them in after, when I edit the video. But yeah. Also, eat what you want to and what you feel like, because you'll get lectured at, like, oh, you've got to eat all the fresh good stuff, you know, this healthy vegetables, everything that's good for you. But when you're actually going through chemo, there'll be times when you feel nauseous, you might be sick, and there'll be times where you don't really feel like eating, and the most horrible time where you lose your sense of taste, and everything sort of just tastes like you're eating like dank cardboard. And I'm not ashamed to admit, there was one time where I'd gone into that sort of stage, and I was sitting at the dinner table, and I was eating my food, and I just burst into tears. I mean, I laugh about it now, but it was heartbreaking at the time, because I love my food, and I was eating this meal, and I just couldn't taste anything, and it was such a weird feeling and a weird experience, but it was so depressing because I physically just couldn't sort of taste the flavours in the food, what the food was that I was eating, and it basically did just taste like eating like a bloody loo roll, one of the cardboard things out of some loo roll or something, and it just broke my heart, and yeah, I cried like a baby. So don't let people lecture you into eating stuff. Yeah, just eat whatever the bloody hell you want to. Just eat what you feel like, eat what you can manage. If you can't have the big meals that you're used to, just have little smaller portions and things like that. I mean, especially when I was having my first three chemos, the ones that made you sort of feel nauseous and that, there was times where I would basically wake up, have my meds, have like this sort of breakfast shake thing, go back to sleep, wake up again on the lunchtime, maybe have a nibble at something, and then have my meds, go back to sleep, wake up again on the tea time, and then I might only be able to manage like some super noodles or something. I'd have my super noodles, or there is these lovely little parcel things that I was having from Sainsbury's at the time. I can't remember what they were called now, but there was like these little triangle pastry things that had like spinach and I think it was like goat's cheese or something like that in it. Oh, but they was delish, and I could certainly taste them when stuff was starting to taste a bit weird. But yeah, I'd just have like them, and then maybe have a bit of a sleep again, and then just pick at some other stuff. Muffins was always good as well. Or magic muffins, that's what I used to call them. People don't believe me when I say that cake is magic, but it is honestly, because my my temperature used to fluctuate when I was having chemo, and I'd have to keep my temperature below um, a certain level, otherwise I'd have to ring like the chemo line, and then that's when I'd end up getting admitted into hospital. But people didn't believe me when I said cake is magic, because if my temperature started to go up and that, if I ate a blueberry muffin or something like that, it would actually bring my temperature down back to a normal level. So you heard it here first, folks. Cake is magic, so don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. Also, I can't stress enough how important it is to have some sort of support network while you're going through your treatment. So, supportive friends and family, or if you can't talk to your friends and family about your experience, then find yourself a local support group. Or, like myself, I was part of a couple of online breast cancer support groups, which I'm still actually part of, and they're always full of supportive fellow pink ladies who are either going through the same journey that you are, or they have had their journey, so that they can share their wisdom with you, and you've got somewhere where you can ask the questions that you need to ask, and you can get the answers, and you can see what to expect and learn from other people's experiences. Obviously, your experience might not necessarily be the same as someone else's journey, but it'll help to give you a sort of gist of what to expect when it comes to like chemo side effects, surgeries, what you're like after having your surgeries, whether you want implants or other prosthetics, wigs and food and all sorts of stuff. I learnt so much through the experience of the other ladies in the groups, and I'm still in contact and friends with a lot of the ladies that I made friends with. Obviously, there's quite a few who are sadly no longer with us, which is always heartbreaking when you lose a pink lady that you made friends with, especially during your journey. You always have that sort of survivor's guilt when there's people who were diagnosed around the same time that you were, but then they end up having their cancer returning and taking them away. But it's still a blessing to have had the friendship with those people and the wisdom from them people, and I'll always be grateful that I got a chance to make friends with them and be part of their journey. It's always sad when cancer robs someone's life and you end up losing your battle, but that's life at the end of the day. Life sucks. Life sucks and then you die. But yeah, make sure you've got some sort of support, because you will need it. And even after you've finished your treatment as well. If you find that you get that sort of sinking feeling and you're feeling yourself sort of get swallowed, just seek out some support, talk to your doctor, just get the support that you need, ask for some counselling. I'm not ashamed to admit that I asked for counselling at one point. It wasn't like a one-to-one thing, which was what I wanted, but I got referred to like a weekly like counselling group, where there was like a group of us meeting up, and that did help in a way. It got me out of the house, and yeah, they were lovely people. But yeah, don't be ashamed to admit that you need help, because there's nothing wrong with needing help. Everyone's human at the end of the day. No one's perfect, even if some pretend to be. So yeah, get the help when you need it. Don't listen to those people that sort of come along when they find out that you're going to have chemo, and then they'll turn around and they'll go, oh, you don't need chemo. Yeah, all you need to do is snort some turmeric and shove some bloody kale up your arse and you'll be fine. No, no, don't listen to them sorts of people. You know, if you want to do what's best for you and give yourself the best chance possible, just take the treatment. Don't be afraid to take the treatment. It's not easy, but it's doable. I mean, my first 2 chemos did get me hospitalised twice. Not that I had any reactions to the actual chemo, it was just, it knocked me about that much, that my levels were like really, really, really low. So I had to go into hospital twice. I think it was the first time I ended up having to have a blood transfusion as well. Not that they was like replacing my blood, but it was sort of to top up the blood that I already had, to try and raise my levels back up again because of how low they were. And that was an experience in itself as well, because I'd never really been in hospital before. So that was another sort of first that I ticked off, having my treatment. In fact, I think it ticked off a lot of firsts. It's almost as if the universe turned around and went, well, yeah, what can we give her that's gonna get her to tick off a load of boxes all at once? I know, we'll give her cancer. Yeah. So yeah, they ticked off like first time in hospital, first time having operation, first time being put to sleep, and I always turned around and said that from a little girl I always wanted curly hair, and then surprise, surprise, when my hair grew back after chemo, it come back curly. So it was like, yes, tick, 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 or do all these firsts for her. So yeah, it is a crazy experience. I wouldn't wish it on anyone, not even my worst enemy, don't get me wrong. But in a way, I am still sort of grateful that I went through the whole experience, because it taught me a lot about myself. It made me realise that I am a lot stronger than I thought I was. I am capable of doing a lot more than I thought I could. And I mean, especially when you go through any sort of big life-changing experience. It sort of changes your perspective on things as well. The stuff that used to sort of matter to you before sort of buggers off because you don't need to be thinking like about that sort of stuff anymore. But it gives you a whole, you look at life a lot more differently. I think it makes you a lot more grateful for the little things in life, because the stuff that you thought was important, and then you sort of realise that, well, that stuff wasn't really as important as I thought, and there's a lot of other stuff that matters a hell of a lot more. So yeah, it's sort of, it does change things, and it changes you as a person. I'm not the same person that I was 8 years ago, and in a way that's probably a good thing, because I used to put up with a hell of a lot of stuff. Yeah, I've been through some stuff, I've seen some stuff, but the person that I am now certainly wouldn't put up with being treated the same way that I was before. And I certainly don't sugarcoat things anymore when it comes to telling people how I feel and calling people out on the bullshit. So that's probably not going to please some people, but tough shit. But yeah, yeah, I'm grateful for the experience. And yeah, I have changed, but I've changed for the better, which is always a blessing. And I'm just going to continue learning, growing, and just being the best person that I can be, really. Don't stress about your love life while you're having cancer treatment as well. Obviously in my case I got dumped 10 days after I got diagnosed, which just added to the yeah. But in the end it wasn't all bad, because not long before I started my chemo, I obviously met Jimmy, who sort of came into my life unexpectedly. The best ones usually do, don't they? But yeah, he sort of come along unexpectedly, and was a beacon of light during a very dark time. And we had 8 lovely years together. Obviously, he passed away the end of February, so he's not with us anymore. But he will always hold a special little place in my heart forever. But yeah, there's a lot of ladies on, especially on the breast cancer support groups and things like that, that have been through sort of similar situations where the marriages and things like that have sort of broken down while they was having the treatment. And then they're like how I was. It was like, oh, no one's going to want to touch me with a 10-foot barge pole because, my body's deformed now, and things like that, no one's going to be interested in. But there are lovely people out there, and there will be somebody out there who thinks that you are everything that they've ever wanted. and they won't be worried about scars, they won't be worried about missing breasts, they won't be worried about franken boobies like what I've got. But yeah, don't stress about it, because it's a very small sort of detail amongst the bigger things, the bigger picture. So don't stress about it. There's someone out there for everybody. And if you haven't got that person at the time, you'll find that that person will come into your life at the right time, when they need it and when you need it. And then you will eventually have your happier ever after. So yeah, don't stress it.